Stop. I need you to be honest with yourself for 8 minutes. Have you ever felt it? That soul-crushing moment of emotional whiplash? When you're trying to be strong, logical, in control, but the world, your relationships, or your own internal emotional life feels like an overwhelming, unskippable tidal wave that you've been told that to be a woman is to be complex, deeply emotional, maybe even irrational, a beautiful, brilliant mystery. But what if that mystery is actually a profound, yet simple, inner power you've been taught to ignore? This is not a video about dating tips or manipulating people. This is about you. It's about the hidden psychological facts of the female mind, decoded by a philosophy older than recorded history, a philosophy that, yes, was embraced by some of the most powerful women of the ancient world. Stoicism, that I'm going to show you 3 psychological facts about the female mind that explain your deepest anxieties and highest desires. And by the end of this video, you will have a 2,000-year-old blueprint for turning your biggest emotional vulnerabilities into your unshakable core strength. Stay locked in, because the third fact is the one that will completely redefine how you see heartbreak, self-worth, and your own powerful, rational mind. Welcome. Let's start with a brutal truth. The world expects women to be primarily emotional. But the ancient Stoics, think Marcus Aurelius, think Seneca, they didn't care about gender. They cared about the rational soul. You are in control of only your judgments and your actions. Everything else is outside your control. Now, apply this to female psychology. For centuries, our perceived vulnerability, our deepest feels, have been weaponized. Stoicism gives you the shield. It's not about being emotionless. It's about becoming the master of your emotional response. This is not a philosophy for men. It is a philosophy for human beings seeking inner freedom. Let's dive into the facts. Fact number 1. The intensity of inner value versus external validation. The female brain is wired for connection, which is often misinterpreted as a dependence on external validation. Think about it. We are judged on appearance, relationship status, and success in nurturing more than men often are. This creates a psychological pressure cooker. You got a promotion, but your mind is stuck on that one passive-aggressive comment your colleague made. You look in the mirror, and all you see is the one flaw, not the 100 things you love. Why? Because the female psyche is deeply attuned to the social environment and the judgment it carries. That feeling of needing that like, that comment, that approval, that is your brain trying to secure its place in the tribe. Epictetus said, "I have to die. If it is now, well then I die now. If later, then later." But do not forget that everything happens by justice. What others think of you is not your business. When a negative thought about an external judgment hits you, pause and ask, is this in my control? Is this rooted in virtue? You don't need a man, a job, or a title to define your value. Your value is intrinsic. It's the moment you choose to be brave over popular. That is Stoic self-respect. It's the most attractive, most unshakable confidence a woman can possess. For 1 week, when you feel a spike of anxiety over a social situation, write down the virtue you will choose instead of the worry. Fact number 2. The rationality of female intuition and the premeditatio malorum. The deep, sometimes unsettling feeling of intuition is often the brain's high-speed threat assessment. Women are often criticized for overthinking. But what you call a gut feeling, your brain calls a pattern recognition alarm. It's the constant, psychological calculation of safety, resource management, and social dynamics. This is exhausting, and it's why women are statistically more prone to anxiety. You're dating someone new. Everything looks good, but something deep down says, be careful. You call it being paranoid. But what if it's the sum total of every lesson you've ever learned about human behavior flashing an urgent warning? This is where we bring in the powerful Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of adversity. Ancient wisdom, modern application. The Stoics didn't avoid fear, they stared it down. They thought about the worst-case scenario rationally, so that when it happened, they had already mentally prepared. If you're intuitively worried about a relationship ending, Stoicism says, good. Now, what's the worst that happens? Heartbreak. Is that a virtue or a vice? Neither. It's a natural event. By mentally preparing for the loss, you free yourself to fully act with virtue in the present. When you apply this, your paranoia turns into prudent foresight. That intuitive flash is no longer a source of paralyzing anxiety. It becomes data for your rational, stoic action plan. It allows you to feel the fear, acknowledge the risk, and act anyway, not recklessly, but virtuously. You've neutralized the bomb before it can go off. Fact number 3, the profound power of choosing your role. This is the one. This fact is the game changer. It's what separates the emotionally overwhelmed from the unshakable. The female search for purpose is intrinsically tied to her chosen role, whether that's mother, leader, artist, or friend, in a world that constantly shifts goalposts for what a successful woman looks like. This search can feel like a spiritual crisis. You feel stretched, pulled in a million directions, and often deeply insufficient that you're crushing it at work, but feel guilty for not being home. You're a great parent, but you mourn the career you gave up. The root of this suffering is often the feeling of failing at a role you didn't consciously choose. Epictetus gave us the ultimate truth. Seek not that things should happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. This is about consciously choosing the role you inhabit right now. Are you a leader in this meeting? Then embody the virtues of justice and discipline. Are you a supportive friend? Then embody the virtues of kindness and patience. Stop being a victim of external expectations and own your current role with fierce intentionality. Your self-worth should not be conditional on the outcome, but on the effort and the virtue you put into the role. When you do this, that overwhelming sense of not enough disappears, because you know, deep down, that you acted with your highest good. You are not defined by the roles you fail at, but by the virtue you apply to the role you are currently in. This is the truth of feminine power, not in trying to be everything, but in being virtuous in the one thing that matters now. Example: think of a woman facing a sudden, devastating loss. She doesn't have to be strong in the world's sense. She chooses the role of grieving daughter with the virtue of acceptance and temperance. In that conscious, virtuous choice, she finds a peace that is deeper than any fleeting happiness. That is unshakable inner strength. What you just learned is that the supposed complexity of the female mind is actually a goldmine of psychological power, waiting for the clarity of Stoicism. You don't need to suppress your feelings. You need to relabel them. Your need for approval is a need for intrinsic value. Your anxiety is a call for prudent foresight. Your crisis of purpose is a call to conscious, virtuous action. I promised you a blueprint. Here is your final task. Comment below with the single word you are going to focus on this week. Is it virtue, acceptance, or intention? If this deep dive hit you in the chest, if you felt that spark of self-recognition, then you are ready for the journey. Like this video, subscribe for more transformative psychology, and share this with the woman who needs to hear that her emotional depth is not a weakness, but the raw material for her greatest strength. The world needs your inner strength. Go out there and be unshakable. I'll see you in the next video.